Greetings and salutations. Thanks for clicking on the video and giving me a watch. Hope I don't disappoint. Before we get started, I do want to say please do like, comment, and subscribe. Also, you can go on the channel. I do have some other career simulations that I've done. We've done a small ball one, which kind of goes in a little bit to what we'll be doing today with this Coach K career resimulation. I've also done a pro style rebuild. So please do check that out. But without further ado, here we go. Coach K. A lot of people think he's the GOAT. Me, myself, as a Duke fan, I think he's the GOAT. But there's been a lot of talk about, hey, maybe if he would have built a team the way he did in the past, he'd have more success. So I kind of want to put that to the test here by resimulating his career. And this is actually a pretty pivotal juncture to be doing this at, because 2008, this is the John Shire, Gerald Henderson teams. That core with Nolan Smith, Kyle Singler, they had this was like his last group, well, his last full group of guys that he depended on that were upperclassmen. After this, Ryan Kelly and Mason Plumlee were there with Seth Curry, and yeah, he did have them, but he started to build his team more so around one-and-done players. So we're trying to say, hey, what if we go after these high IQ players, skilled players that Duke used to go after that are going to stay multiple years versus going after one-and-done players. So a one-and-done player in the context of this game would be a guy who leaves either after his first year or his second year, just because they inflate the overall so bad. It's hard to get a true one-and-done player on this game. But that's what we'll be looking to do today. So we'll start with our rules. The sim ends after the 2021-2022 season, because that's when Coach K ends. I have to ditch the one-and-done model, so I cannot go after those players. That doesn't mean I can't have a couple sprinkled in here and there. But for the most part, I need to be recruiting guys that are going to be multiple-year guys and that I know are going to be multiple-year guys. My coaching strategy also cannot be drastically different. So I can't be running full-court presses, things like that. I can't be running these run and gun, high tempo offenses. I would have to run things similar to what Coach K ran. Okay, and this is how we will build the program. So I want to recruit smart players, then coach to their strengths. So I'm going to recruit based off of intelligence for my two recruiting priorities. Your recruiting priorities, if you set it to that and you sort them from best to worst in the recruiting screen, it's going to sort them based on those priorities. So it's going to give me the players with the highest IQ whenever I do this, as well as consistency. So I want to recruit those types of players, and then that have high IQ, consistency, and then I'll want to coach to their strengths. So it just may be I happen to recruit a bunch of guys that are three-point shooters. I want to shoot a bunch of threes. I may recruit a bunch of guys that are, we might have a lot of size, pause, so I may want to play through the post. It just kind of depends. I'll also seek to adopt a pace and space philosophy that the 01 Duke squad had. I think that's the pinnacle of Duke basketball, and that's what I kind of want to recreate here. So, I mean, it'll be hard to get a Shane Battier, a guy that wins 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards, but I want to bring back Duke defense, smart players, guys that stay multiple years, things like that. I want to train my perimeter players to fit a 3-and-D archetype to go with that pace and space model. I also want to have a center who's going to be a rim protector. So those are going to be the things that we're looking to do as we build our team. Without further ado, let's get into it with year one. So here we are to start the sim. We'll go with breaking down how we're going to judge this. So I took kind of a copy of our spreadsheet, added 2 more sections or columns for wins against North Carolina and losses against North Carolina, because it's a rivalry, so it's kind of how we got to judge it specifically for this coach. So the spreadsheet in terms of how points are calculated is the same, except wins against North Carolina count for 2 points each, and losses against North Carolina, they subtract 1 point. So as you'll see here, the legacy score I'll have to beat is 128. From 2008 to 2022, Mike Krzyzewski had 2 regular season conference titles, 5 conference tournament titles, 19 wins against North Carolina, 16 losses against North Carolina, 7 30-plus win seasons, 13 NCAA tournament bids, 9 appearances in the Sweet 16, 6 appearances in the Elite 8, 3 Final Fours, and 2 national championships. So I will be attempting to top that mark, and the last season in which I can do that, meaning this is done after 2022, because that was Coach K's last year, so that's the timetable I'm putting on myself. So now we'll go over kind of just some year one stuff, how we're going to be setting up the program and trying to plan for success. So the whole point of this is I'm trying to get away from the one and dones that he did to see if I can do it better. So I'm going to be recruiting based off intelligence. So this will be focusing more so on offensive and defensive awareness and consistency. I'm gonna just run the motion playbook. Keep the 2-3 matchup as my secondary. I think I'm gonna do that. Coach K didn't trap much, so I think I'll keep the half court trap, but I'll do after basket. I'll do after basket. I may shift it to always. But I'm going with these sliders right here to start. Then we'll go over our roster to start the year. So this is what the roster is looking like. Let's go to the rotation. Not the best. We got DeMarcus Nelson here. He'll be gone after this year, and I think we'll get Gerald Henderson for 2 more years, potentially. So we'll see how that goes. My plan here is, because I got Cal Singler right here. He's number 12, power forward. I got him playing center. What I want to do is recruit 2 bigs so that way he can move to small forward. That's what I want. So I want to recruit 2 bigs so that we can get that to happen. Hopefully it does. But I'll check you guys out in a second at the end of the season. So here we are in season number 1. 23-11 on the year. 10-6 in conference play. And we did play UNC twice. So here goes those highlights. Well, can't win them all. Hopefully we get more wins in the future. And conference tournament did not go well for us at all. Bat out to Vatech in round 1. Tisk, tisk, tisk. The NCAA tournament, we would pretty good through the first 2 rounds. Then we'd get to Stanford in the Sweet 16, where we'd lose in the U.S. Airways Center. We'll take a look at this year's Final Four. Well, at least that's saving grace. North Carolina lost. Here's our player stats for the year. DeMarcus Nelson will be gone. But I think we got a pretty good group of guys coming back for next year. Take a look at those percentages. So quick look at the team stats. Really middle of the pack all across the board. Here's this year's awards. Beasley went off, per usual. Oh, wow. Which Mayo had a great year. Golly, 26-8. What the fuck? Wow, so we got no all ACC honors except for the freshman team. Here's our signings for this year. Take a look at their stats and then their ratings. Then to recap the season, this is where we're starting at. So year one, we got 1 point, 127 more to go. See you guys are starting the next season. So here we are. This is our rotation to start season number 2. We'll take a look at the freshmen. So these two guys got redshirted. We kept all of our coaching sliders the same, so no changes there. See you guys to end the year. Here we go, the end of season number 2, and here's the conference standings. We finished 27-8 on the year, 11-5 in conference play. Now we only played North Carolina one time this year. I hope you enjoy the gameplay. It's coming up right after this, but we did beat them. And we had the same ACC record. In the record books, they give North Carolina this championship, but the way that ACC does, they don't technically do, like they don't recognize regular season conference champions. So as long as you win the league, you can cut it down. So there's no formal rule. So like if we tied like this in real life, then both teams would have a claim to the regular season conference championship. So I'm going to claim it. So that'll count as one for us in this sim. Hope you enjoy the gameplay. And we just continue to have bad luck in the ACC tournament. We got dubbed up something fierce by Virginia, just like real life. Some guys who just ain't that guy just decide that they're going to have career or actually the games of their lives against Duke. So, hey, what can you do? Let's move on to the NCAA tournament. So we actually ended up with a 2 seed. Almost got upset by Montana. This was not a double-digit game, and we were only up 2 points going into the half. And then, in which I think that kind of mimics real life, because who'd they play that year? I think they played Belmont. I want to say they played Belmont either this year or the year before, and they almost got upset. Gerald Henderson kind of saved that. But then we went on to beat Seton Hall by double digits, and then we just absolutely thumped Clemson in Memphis. Then we would go on to play Marquette, who we beat in the regular season, but then they would thump us. Wow. Talk about having career games against Duke. Gerald Henderson, I want to say he got drafted. He did. And this was our Final Four. Connecticut ended up winning it all. Here's a look at our individual stats this year. Gerald Henderson, he really did earn his draft stock, averaging 18, 5, 2, and 2. Also a block. He's really the leader for the team. Let's take a look at the percentages. And here are the team stats. Pretty decent numbers for us this year. Here are this year's awards. Wow, Luke Herringody went off. Glad he's gone. So Gerald Henderson was first team All ACC. take a look at our recruits for the year. Overall, pretty good haul. Damn good haul, actually. Take a look at their ratings and their stats. Really impressed with his shooting statistically. Really like the intelligence all of these guys are showing. Going back to the good old true blue Duke way. Then to recap the season, because we did make that Elite 8 run and had in the ACC regular season conference championship. We are up to a 12 on the legacy score for this resim. Catch you guys to start season number 3. So here we are, season number 3. I'll show you guys the freshmen we had come in and what we're going to focus on with them. But this is going to pretty much be our starting lineup. And we are preseason number 1. Also, we did some coaching changes, so I'll show that to you guys. As you can see, we're going 10 deep to start out the year just because that's what our depth allows for. And I don't want our guys to get injuries early on. So here's our freshman, first one. He originally was a power forward. Changed him to a center. Fits our pace and space ideology. He will be shooting from range. And here's the small forward we had. Pretty good overall all around. And then here's the point guard, taking up number 22. And then we'll go over these coaching changes I made. It was in terms of sliders. So this is what we're going with. We're going with it. Actually, let me change these to 50. We're going with this because defensively, we're just not that good a team. So it just doesn't make sense to have our team be focused on defense, but we're really good shooting and offensively. So for that reason, I said, hey, let's crank out some more offensive possessions. We're also going to be shooting a lot of threes. That's what I got the tendency set to. So hopefully we're in for a good year. But I'll catch you guys to end the year. So here we go. End of season 3. A real mixed bag of a season. And I know you see that and say, oh, well, maybe not so much. You guys did really well. Well, you'll see. So we went 26-6 on the year. 14-2 in conference play. Earning us a regular season conference championship. The number 1 overall seed in the conference tournament. And we did go 2-0 against North Carolina, who looks to have struggled some this year, just like in real life. So this is the year Duke won the national championship. And Carolina, I want to say they won the NIT that year. So now we'll check out the conference tournament. So in the conference tournament, we start out by walloping Miami in the first round. And then taking out Florida State in the second. And we would advance to the championship round to play Maryland. So you can check out some highlights of that here. Tough lost there. Barely lost it. Grievous Vasquez, I believe that's who that is. He went off on us. Is that Grievous? Yeah, that's Grievous. Because he's number 21. Yeah. Yeah, he went off on us. Is what it is. Sometimes you can't help it. So we'll get ready for that 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. And this is why it was a mixed bag this year. We ended up losing to the 16 seed, which I've never done in simulation. But I've also never had to play San Diego State as a 1 seed. So, sucks. Nolan Smith, Tyler King, Shire, Lance Thomas, Cal Singler, they're all gone. So we'll have all fresh blood coming in next year. Here's a look at our individual stats on the year. We'll also take a look at our percentages real quick. So shot the ball pretty well. Here are our team stats on the year. Overall pretty good. Can't complain too much. Second in the ACC in scoring. Now we'll check out the awards on the year. That guy's a beast, ain't he? Blake Griffin. Oh, Blake Griffin stayed an extra year, huh? So we did get a freshman of the year, 3 first-team All-ACC selections, and 2 freshman All-ACC selections. And here's a look at the recruits. Pretty good recruiting class. Alright, I'll see you guys to start the next season. And here, just to recap where we're at on the year. We now have a legacy score of 20. It's only 108 more points to go. We've done 3 years, so let me do the math. It's about 15 years in total. So we got about 10 more years. So hopefully we can get that 100. And here we go. This is what we're looking like to start the year. We'll adjust the rotation to 9 just to start the year. Don't really have a whole lot of expectation because they're so young. Hopefully we can get some wins against North Carolina, make the tournament, and maybe do a little bit of damage. Hopefully hang a conference banner as well. See you guys at the end of the season. So here we are to end season number 4. 11-5 in ACC play, 22-9 on the year. Not bad considering how young and inexperienced the team was. And as you can see, we did get a 4 seed. We only played North Carolina once, and we beat them. We would bow out to Georgia Tech in the first round, though, getting mollywopped. But, I think in the tournament, we could have done some real damage if we didn't get put in the bracket with the number 1 overall seed. But we beat Army in the first round. Coach K beating Army. Kind of poetic right there. Mullett came up big, 29 points. Then we played Mississippi State. Beat them by 3. Then we went against Florida, number 1 overall seed. And Chandler Parsons put it on us. Glad he's gone. If you look at the Final Four, Florida would go on to win the national championship. And here's what our player stats look like. 3-head monster in terms of scoring here. These guys, they played pretty good throughout the year. We did have a lot of injuries, so that's kind of reflective of the record. Take a look at our percentages. We shot the ball pretty decent, so I think I'm putting guys in right position. So look at our team stats. Averaged 80 points. Really middle of the pack to high end on all the other stats. So turnovers was terrible, but that comes with being a young team. It's what happens when you're young. Here are the awards for the year. Did get a All-American freshman selection, Nate Taylor out of Philadelphia. And he was also ACC Freshman of the Year. 2 second-team All-ACC selections. Oh, wow. Mulek didn't get All-ACC. That's kind of crazy. And why he got freshman, it's kind of weird. He's a sophomore. This is what recruiting looked like on the year. Kind of guard heavy. Even though this 5'10" guard averaged 11 rebounds a game. Take a look at his ratings. It looks like he can really shoot. It's going to be a plus. He has no skill. He may end up having to move to the 2. Not a good handler or passer. And our big point guard, I guess he decided not to play this summer. But yeah, overall good deal. I like this guy. He's got a B+ consistency. It's hard to find guards that are really consistent. Then just a recap on the year to show you where we're at. We have a 25 legacy scores. We added another win against UNC, another NCAA tournament bid, and another appearance in the Sweet 16. Alright, so to start the season, I'm going to show you guys some changes I made on the coaching end. I got a lot of talent, and I want to get these guys some experience when we're in the non-conference, so I'm playing 11 guys. I'll reduce that to about 8 or 9 when we hit conference play, and then 7 once we get into tournaments. Went from half-court trap to half-court press. And these are the sliders we're going with. I want them to be all out on defense, and then we'll make it work on offense. We'll be more selective with our shots on offense. Then just to show you guys our rotations, this is what it's looking like. Playing 11 guys. Really got everybody getting a couple minutes at least. I think I'll take him down. That way Jordan can get some more minutes. But that's what it's looking like. Let's go over the freshmen. We had 3 of them. Let's see. Yeah, I think Daniels was one of them. Yep. So he's the one that had the B+ consistency. Hopefully he grows a couple inches. I can move him to the 3. Then the other 2 guys we redshirted. He's the guy that was a point guard. Went ahead and switched him to the 2. That's because he's a really good shooter. And then here's our big guard, 6'4". All right, I'll see you guys at the end of the season. So here we are, conference standings for the year. We went 27-7 on the year, 12-4 in ACC play, and we lost head-to-head to Florida State. But due to ACC rules, we do still get to claim a share of the regular season conference championship, so we'll chalk that one up. And we did beat North Carolina twice in the regular season. We would then go on to have some rather close games in the ACC tournament. Right here, 44-point bomb from Manny C., who will be coming back next year. Then we had a game right here against NC State. We would beat them, and we'd go on to face North Carolina for a 3rd time this season. We'll let you know how that goes. Hey, sometimes it's just how the cookie crumbles. You can't pull it out. Sucks to lose to Carolina and Charlotte, but hey, hard to beat the same team 3 times in 1 year, especially as good as North Carolina was, as they did get the #1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament. Then here we go in the NCAA tournament, 2 seed in the Midwest Regional. We had a rather easy path to victory. We would lose to UCLA in the Sweet 16, who would go on to win the whole thing. But, man, like Memphis was our 1 seed. They were like a 94, 95 overall. UCLA was a 97. So if we could have beat UCLA, we'd have got through here. And, that's nice. Thank you, UCLA. But, all right, we'll take a look at our stats next. Here are our player stats on the year, and I think all of these guys are pretty much gone that are at the top of the board here. So, Buellnick, he's gone. He got drafted. So did Eisentraut. None of these guys candidates for the Hall of Fame, by the way. Jeffries gone as well. Manny C will be coming. Well, no. Jeffries is back. So we do have solid front court action going on here, or back court action. Freeman, who's our backup center, he is gone as well. He got drafted. Bain will be taking that small forward spot. I may end up moving him to power forward. Just kind of letting him play like a point forward role. Iguodala, he's gone as well. He was kind of our post anchor. And then there's this guy right here. He transferred out. He went to Lafayette. So I guess at the end of the next couple of seasons, I'll give you guys updates on how he's doing. He may not even play for them because he may get drafted after next year because he has to sit out next year. And he may get drafted, but he's going to be really good. I'll turn his tendencies all the way up, so he's like killing it over there, making me look crazy for letting him transfer. We'll take a look at the percentages. Then we'll look at the team stats. So percentage-wise, we shot the ball all right from the field. 3, a lot to be desired. I guess the way, I don't know. Something with the threes. They're just not hitting them. I may need to move to a different kind of offense. I may end up going to a flex. I don't know. Here are our team stats. Overall, solid year across the board. 85 in points. Good for 4th in the ACC. Led the ACC in rebounding. 2nd in assists. We were up there defensively as well. And we were the best team in terms of turnovers. So with the guards we're returning next year, I hope to see that continue to improve. And here, just to recap the year, our legacy score is now at a 34 as we went 2-1 against North Carolina, won a regular season ACC Conference Championship, and made it to the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament. We're still a good ways back. It's currently we just finished the 2012 season, so we'll be going into the 2013 season. So we'll have about 9 more seasons to go in order to try to top that legacy score. See you guys to start the next year. All right, so to start season number 6, I am adjusting the sliders some. So basically, we're running the 4 out now. I don't think that's a big change in running that versus what Coach K would normally run. I mean, they kind of talked about it with the USA basketball documentary with Kobe. Him having to, I forget exactly what the context of it was, but him and Coach K was basically like, yeah, you're going to be open. We're running this 5 out. You got to shoot a 3 or something like that. Something to that effect. So it's not because Coach K runs some 5 out sets. It's like, okay, we can run 4 out playbook. That'll be fine. Keeping our defenses the same. Starting the season at a bench depth of 10. And I changed the sliders this way because we are going really, really small. I think I'm going to change this to occasionally because we're going really, really small. And I need my guys to not focus so much on defense. And, we're going to lose the rebounding war. I think our rebounding rating is like an 83. Let's go take a look at it real quick. because we're a high-rated team, but our rebounding is an 83. Shooting is off the chart, so that's what we're going to do. We are going to shoot threes. We are going to live by the three, and we'll die by the three. If we lose because we can't make threes, then we'll lose because we can't make threes. But damn it, we're going to shoot threes this year. And we'll take a look at the rotation. This is what the rotation's looking like this year. So Mayer, he's a decent shooter. I think he's got like an 82 for his three. But then I got three guys at 90 for their three. And then after him, my center, he was power forward last year. He's like 6'7" guy. He's a 73. So we're going to shoot threes. I mean, we're going to shoot them. And honestly, we're going to have to make them. I'll be training everybody to shoot and make threes this year. And hopefully it works. I mean, that's all I can say because, hey, we can't really rebound the ball. So, hey, hopefully this works. And I'll give you guys a look at the freshmen that we had come in this year. So one is Merrick's right here. He did grow 1 inch. Pause. Here's a look at his ratings. So I think I'm going to work on his rebounding and post play. Try to have him be like a Kenneth Fareed type of player. And we'll take a look at our center. I did redshirt him. Here's a look at his ratings. Have to work on his defense because he's basically going to be a rebounding defender. All right, I'll catch you guys to start or at the end of the season. So here we are, end of the year. Went surprisingly well, considering how small we had to play. It kind of validates my small ball video, to be honest. But we went 31-3 on the year for our first 30-win season. Then 15-1 in ACC play to hang another ACC regular season banner. We've been winning those right regular, so hopefully that'll end up saving me in the regular season conference titles with the legacy score, because I don't know if we're going to win a title. The conference championship tournament actually didn't go well for us. Ended up losing to Georgia Tech right here, who would end up going on to win the whole shebang and getting a 6th seed in the process. So here we are as a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament of the Midwest region. We played good. Scored 100 points twice in the first 2 rounds. Then 91 in the Sweet 16. So you can't really complain about that. We got here, scored 100 again and lost. It's kind of hard to lose scoring 100 points in this game. Texas put up 122. So, hey, if you're going to lose, you're going to lose. But LeBron Bain putting up a staggering 34-7. Take a look at the Final Four. Here are our player stats on the year. We would actually have 2 All-Americans, one first team, one second team. Manny C was first team. He got drafted. LeBron Bain was second team. He got drafted. He was also the ACC Player of the Year. Take a look at these percentages real quick. We shot the ball pretty well. LeBron Bain, man, if he could shoot free throws, he had a 50-40-90 season. Then I would have had to have put him in the Hall of Fame if he'd have done that, because he'd been the only guy that's done it so far. But he wasn't quite able to pull it out. He left again. But if he stayed another year and had another year like that, he'd definitely be a candidate for that Hall of Fame. And I'd really love to get some Duke guys in that Hall of Fame. Yeah, we went off, averaged 95 points a game for the season, 18 assists to 11 turnovers. Wonder where we at nationally. Yeah, so nationally, we led the country in points and tied for first with North Carolina for assists, led the nation in steals. So we played pretty good all the way around. Here are this season's awards. Wow, 28 a game is crazy. So we did get Defensive Player of the Year, Collier Jordan. Collier Jordan, and he will be back for next year as he was projected to go undrafted. So that's one good thing to look forward to for next season. Now this guy, we actually have recruited him. I picked a power forward over him because I feel like we needed a power forward, but hey, this is us not going for those one and done guys no more like Coach K was doing. We could have got this guy. Like, because the way that the recruiting was set up, we would have got this guy. But, hey, we're taking a different path. Here we go. Manny C, first team All-American, average 17 points. LeBron Bain, second team All-American, averaging, wow, this guy's a second team All-American, averaging 22 and 12. Where do they do that at? Wow. So LeBron Bain, also ACC Player of the Year. 2 first-team All-ACC selections and 2 second-team All-ACC selections and an ACC All-Freshman selection. It was a guy we redshirted. Now, this guy, I'm confident we'll have him for a while because he's 5'10" shooting guard. So, I mean, he can shoot. He can shoot. So, I'm really looking for him to light it up next year. And this is the recruiting class we'll be bringing in. A bunch of guards, really. Perimeter players. This guy will probably end up playing power forward for us. But yeah, bunch of guards. We'll take a look at their stats and attributes. This guy looks like he'll be a shooter, and he's got some consistency. Wow, 53% from 3. His rating doesn't support that. And here, just to recap the year, our legacy score is up to a 47, as this year we were able to add a regular season championship, our first 30-win season, win against Carolina. We only played them once this year, as well as another NCAA tournament bid, Sweet 16 appearance, and Elite 8 appearance. So here we are, starting season number 7, and we're still going to have to go small. This is what our sliders are looking like to start the year. Now we'll take a look at our rotation. And I'll show you the freshmen. Interesting of note, we have 2 walk-ons that are going to contribute this year. Winston, walk-on. And Theus as well. Now, if you want to see our freshmen, first one, Stokes here. Good shooter. Here's that center. 86 consistency out the gate is ridiculous. I think Lee's another one, yeah. Now that center, whenever I showed you guys the recruits in the last season, I forgot that I had this guy I was still recruiting in the off season. Well, here's the other freshman. Had to really work on his shooting. Then there's 2 red shirts working on their shooting. And his 6'6" point guard, I'm working on his skill. All right, and I'll see you guys at the end of the year. So here we are, 22 and 12 on the year, 8 and 8 in conference play. Did not go too well. We would mollywop Miami in the first round of the ACC tournament, but then we would lose to Georgia Tech in the second round. And then we wouldn't even make it out of the first round against South Florida. Here's a look at our Final Four. Connecticut winning it all in the battle of Big East opponents. Here are our stats on the year. Did he win another defensive player? Nah, he didn't. He'd have been a candidate if he'd have won 2 back-to-back defensive players of the year. It's hard to just get one, though. So, but, hey, is what it is. Take a look at these percentages. And we didn't really shoot the ball too well. That's a big reason as to why. It's a big reason as to why we're not why we didn't do well this year. Here's a look at our team stats. Nothing to really write home about. Nothing too good, nothing too bad. Here's a look at this year's awards. Oh, point guard average 22, 23, 4 and 4 to get player of the year. Who else but Villanova? So he did get freshman of the year, and he did that coming off the bench. So that's pretty impressive. Looking for good things from him next year. ACC freshman of the year as well. We had a first team all ACC selection and a second team all ACC selection and a all freshman all ACC selection. And here's a look at our recruits for the year. Got 2 guys from North and South Dakota and a guy from Virginia. Take a look at their ratings and their stats. B+ consistency that's good out the gate. The B+ for him as well. All right, our legacy score is now up to a 49. Honestly, we're not going to catch that 128. If we keep on going at this rate, we'll need to win a championship and make a couple Final Fours and get better in terms of 30-win seasons. So here we are to start season number 8. This is what our rotation looks like, and I'll show you the freshmen as well. Let's see, so freshman Herb Lee is one. Herb Floyd. We had 3, so the other 2 are going to be red-shirted. 84 consistency, that's awesome. Here are 2 red shirts. All right, I'll catch you guys at the end of the season. Another ACC tournament, another first round exit. Not really too much to say here. We would find some tournament success. However, though, we almost lost in the first round to ECU. That would have been devastating. But we ended up pulling it out. Pause. We advanced to the second round into Sweet 16, winning those games. So we faced Kansas in the Elite 8, or we would lose. Kansas would go on to win the whole shebang. Here are our player stats here. Really impressed by this guy. Sophomore, had 2.2 blocks per game to go along with 6 rebounds. Hopefully he'll keep up that kind of effort as he was second team all conference this year. Hopefully he'll keep that up going into the next year. Let's take a look at our percentages. Then I also have something else to show you guys. So you remember that guy that transferred out? Well, this was his senior year. So we played him at Lafayette. Stokes dropped 33 on him, and he dropped 35. Had 10 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks. But he also had 8 turnovers. Really volume shooting here. He went 9 for 25 from the field, 4 of 11 from 3, 13 of 14 from the free throw line. And he really got a decorated career once he left Duke. He was second team All-American in 2014, first team All-Conference twice in those 2 years that he played. Because remember, he spent his sophomore year with us. Then he got redshirted his junior year. So this is his redshirt junior and redshirt senior year. And his stats, he did put up some crazy stat lines. I almost want to put this guy in the 2K in my 2K Hall of Fame, but I'm not going to do it. It wouldn't be right. That's like North Carolina trying to claim Walker Kessler now that he's in the NBA doing stuff. I just can't do it. Here's our team stats on the year. We did really good, but so did Maryland. I guess because they committed less turnovers. That's how they ended up going undefeated in ACC play, and we didn't. I'll take a look at our awards here. We had 2 first-team All-ACC players. They're both gone. Stokes will be a candidate next year if he'll be a Hall of Fame candidate. Depending on what he does next year, I'll be moving him back to 2 guard. He'll get to flourish. We have 1 scholarship this year. This is who we got. He's a power forward. I'll end up moving him to center. Have to work on his defense primarily. He doesn't really look like a shot blocker. All right. And after we added 2 wins to UNC, another NCAA tournament bid, Sweet 16, and Elite 8 appearance, we are now at a score of 59. We're getting closer, but we need to win the championship. We need banners. We need more banners if we're going to beat Coach K's score. All right, but I'll see you guys starting the next season. Here we are. This is our rotation to start the year. We'll have to start the year. Go with about 10. See, was 10 enough? Let's go with 11. We're going to go with 11 just so our freshmen will get some PT. And that's this guy right here. Let you guys take a look at his ratings. He was a power forward. We switched him to center. He stayed in 81 overall. Kind of need to work on his rebounding and his ability to block shots some if he's going to be a defender for us. I mean, if he's going to be a center for us. But I also do still want to work on his shooting some. All right, so I'll see you guys at the end of the season. So here we are, end of the season. We ended up going 32-5 on the year. 12-4 in conference play, which was not good enough to win the conference. I want to say Boston College went like 14-0, which is crazy because that means and they lost like 2 of their last 3 games, and we were the game before those last 3 games. If we'd have beat them in that game, we'd have tied and got a regular season ACC conference championship. That's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. As you can see, entering ACC play, we dominated Florida State and then went on to beat Miami in the second round in Charlotte. So then we take on Maryland in the conference championship game. We haven't won any of these yet, the conference tournament, so let's see how that goes. as you saw, we were actually able to win one. Let's take a look at how our players performed in the box score. And Stokes and Nixon, they just really lit it up. Stokes had a really bad conference tournament game, though. He only got 1 point, 0 for 6 from the field, 0 for 5 from 3, but we still were able to beat Maryland by 20 points. Then in the NCAA tournament, first round, very dominating performance. We carried this into round 2. Round 3, still winning by double digits here, won by 11 points. Then we'd make it to the Elite 8 where we'd play Miami. And again, another dominant performance. And we would go on to play UCLA in the Final Four. It was been on a kind of comparable run to us outside of this 5-point win to Hofstra. So let's take it to the game and see how it goes. We pulled it out in dominating fashion. Started kind of slow, but we got the dub. That's what the box score looks like. Wow, they only played 7 guys. They were clawing. They were fighting hard to get back in there. But all right, we'll play the next game. While we had to play Boston College. I want to say they beat us twice in the regular season, and just like that year we learned with Carolina, it's hard to beat a team 3 times, and they would not beat us this third time. Stokes gets player of the game, so he's got a Final Four MOP to go along with his accolades. So we'll put that into the spreadsheet and see what it looks like in terms of him making our Hall of Fame. Here's what our player stats look like this year. We had 6 guys average about 9 points or more. Had 4 guys average 4+ rebounds. 3 guys really averaging 5. So we played really good. Nixon had a pretty good stat line here. If you round up, he's pretty much averaging 10, 5, 5, and 2 for steals. That's amazing. Amazing. So let's take a look at our shooting percentages. We shot the ball pretty well. It's looking like that's kind of what carried us through the year. We would average 93 points on the year, 36 rebounds, 17 assists, 10 steals, 6 blocks, and only 12.2 turnovers. That's pretty impressive. Let's see where we stand nationally. So nationally, we led the league in points, up there in rebounds, up there in assists, up there in steals. So we're a pretty good team all the way around. Here's a look at this year's awards. So we had 2 first-team All-ACC guys, and really we're having a lot of guys leave, but everybody's staying until their junior or senior year. Our power forward, Castillo, he is leaving this year as a sophomore, but he's a redshirt sophomore, so he's really a junior, to be honest. So we're getting rid of the one and done. We're not getting guys that are, gonna leave after first or second year. And here's a look at our signings. 3 the hard way. Now, we may have some one and done here. Hope not, but even if we do, this would be more like a Corey Maggette situation than us actively trying to recruit one and dones. I don't think we have a one and done here. Personally, I don't. Now this guy, he dropped 22 in the McDonald's All-American game. And I guess we'll take a look at their stats as well. Only one on play. And here we are with our final, not our final recap, but our recap of the season. And Terrence Stokes did make the iMaynor College Hoops 2K8 Hall of Fame. So we have Terrence Stokes from Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Shooting guard, left as a junior, so it scores a little bit lower because he's a junior, but he did his thing, so we got to give it to him. He's 6'5", 215 pounds, former McDonald's All-American and Mr. Basketball for the state of Rhode Island, number 3 overall high school recruit in the nation, and number 2 at his position. Went to Duke, wore number 2, finished with an overall of 95. Played in 3 NCAA tournaments, 2 Sweet 16s, 2 Elite 8s, 1 Final Four, and won a national championship while at Duke, also winning a Final Four Most Outstanding Player award. He also would go on at Duke to win a conference tournament championship, National Freshman of the Year honors, the All-American Freshman honors, Freshman of the Year honors, first team All-Conference, second team All-Conference, as well as conference or All-Conference freshman team. He'd finish his career averaging 16.3 points for a total of 1,597, 2.5 rebounds for a total of 243, 2.7 assists for a total of 262, 1.1 steals for a total of 104, 0 blocks for his average with a total of 4. He shot 44% from the field, 46% from 3, and that is the highest in the iMaynor 2K8 Hall of Fame thus far. 67% from the charity stripe, averaged 23.8 minutes a game with a total of 2,330, played in 98 games, starting 72 for a final legacy score 44. Give it up for that man. Now we'll check on our coach real quick, how his legacy score is doing. So that helped us get a whole lot more healthy in terms of the legacy score. We added a conference tournament championship, wins against UNC, another 30-win season, as well as we ran through the NCAA gauntlet. So we're currently sitting at 83. All right, so you guys will start the next season. So here we are coming off of the national championship season. This is what our starting lineup looks like. We got the where's the freshman? Okay, there's one. So we got, I want to say maybe 1 or 2. We got a couple. I think 3. So here's the first. And here's the second. And the third. He's up here. So it's kind of rare. I got 3 freshmen, and they're all 83 overall. So that's pretty good recruiting. I guess one thing I can say about whenever you recruit based on intelligence is your guys are just naturally going to have higher overalls. I guess their potential would depend on if they're going to be one and done. So this guy, he'll more so fit that one and done status, but he'll probably be the only one we've gotten because we haven't had any players go as freshmen or sophomores yet. All right, so check you guys out to end the season. So here we go. End of season number, is this number 10? Yes, it is. End of season number 10. And we were coming off of a national championship season. We were preseason number 4, but you do expect to have some drawback after winning a national championship because you're losing players. So you either have young players replacing them or players without experience. And we were in a deep ACC, a 7-bid league, and we only went 9-7 in that league, 25-11 overall. We played North Carolina once, and we lost to them that one time we played them. In the conference tournament, we would beat Wake Forest in the first round, the preliminary round, then go on to lose to Boston College. This would be our 3rd time losing to them on the year, as we lost twice in ACC play. After the season we would get into the NCAA tournament as a 9 seed, where we would beat Temple by a whopping 3 points. And at this point, we had a slew of injuries. We would only have 1 player return after you'll see. And then we would play UCLA. We pick up a big win. Herb Floyd with 23 points. We'd go on to the Sweet 16 to play Tennessee, where we would win again. Herb Floyd with another big game. Then we go to the Elite 8, where we would beat South Carolina. Another 20-point game for Herb Floyd. And who would we get? Michigan State. So we have a Tom Izzo, Coach K matchup. They won their game in Staples. We won ours in D.C. We'd meet in New Orleans for the Final Four. Check it out. I hope you enjoy. Wow, that was a really good game. Duke pulling out the win. Carson putting on an absolute all-time Final Four performance with 27 points, 16 rebounds. Will go on to play Boston College. It is hard to beat a team 3 times in 1 year, and it's even harder to do it 4 times in 1 year. So I'm really liking our chances here kicking out the win. Well, all good things must come to an end. We did lose this game. Just too many mistakes, man. And we couldn't get any stops. Then couldn't get any offense going in the second half. Is what it is. Carson didn't have quite as good a game. Britton was our only senior on the team, so he'll be gone. He'll be gone this year. After averaging 1.9 blocks this year. Pretty good defender for us. And Douglas, who is a redshirt junior, so this is really like his senior year. 6'7" point guard. He will be gone next year as he entered the draft a little early. Other than that, we return everybody. We'll have the Dakota Dookies. So Eugene Munns and McKay starting for our backcourt from North Dakota and South Dakota. Trying to decide if I'm going to put Staten at the 4 or if I'm going to move Herb to the 4, and then let either Robertson or I guess my other guy Allen, he's hurt, but let one of them run the 3. I think I'm going to end up doing that so we have better shooting. And here's what our stats look like on the year. Take a look at those percentages. So we didn't really shoot the ball all too well, and that might play into why our record wasn't so good. But once we caught fire in the tournament, it was a wrap. Here are our team stats for the year. Nothing really jumps out. Here's a look at this year's awards. Georgia Tech with another Player of the Year. So no All-Americans for us. Carolina went into ACC. You hate to see it. Floyd was second team All-ACC. And we did have 2 ACC All-Freshman selections. Here's what this year's recruiting class looks like for the Dukies. The number 3, 5, 8, 60, and 72 overall player. We'll take a look at their stats and ratings. Three-point shooting there looks like it might be good. This looks good as well. A+ potential there. Hopefully he'll be a small ball 5. He just said he won't play. And here we are to recap the year. We're creeping closer and closer to Coach K's legacy score. Even though we did take a loss to North Carolina, losing a point, we did make a Final Four run, which added a bunch of points. So we're at a 92. We got about 5 more seasons left to play. Let's see if we can catch that score. So you guys start the next season. So here we are to start season number 11. I did make some coaching adjustments. I changed the offensive playbook to all plays, went into the custom playbook tab, and edited it to kind of give it a 5-out feel. And I'll show you why in a second whenever we get to our rotations. We're going with a 3/4 quarter press. We'll do that after the basket. We're starting off the season 9 deep. We'll look to reduce that to 7 by the time we get to tournament time. These are the sliders we're going with this season because we're really, really, really talented on the offensive end. So I want to get up as many shots as possible, and you'll kind of see that whenever we take a look at the rotations right quick. So this is why Carson, who had that monster game as the power forward last year in the Final Four, I believe he had 27 and 15 against Michigan State, moving him to center. So if he's going to be playing the center, he could shoot threes. Kind of need to be running 5 out. I've got State in here. I decided to go with him as the 4-man. I actually may change this. Actually, I'll be right back. I'm going to change this. So here we are. We're back. Made the changes. Moved Herb Floyd to power forward. He's going to be kind of our stretch 4. We're going to go with pace and space this year. He'll be able to take guys off the dribble, space them out into 3. And Robertson, our freshman from last year, had 2 wings that were 6'6", grew to 6'7". One of them did anyway. He'll be playing a small forward position. He can shoot. So I have a lot of shooting here that we're going to look to take advantage of. That's why I changed the coaching sliders the way that they are. Hopefully we can average 100 points this season. Don't really have a lot of depth, though. So if we get injuries, it's going to be a problem. Hopefully we can make it through the first parts of the season without accruing too many losses. I got us going about 9 deep to start the year. But I'll definitely be down to 7 by the time we get to ACC play. I'll see you guys at the end of the year. We would beat Boston College by 3 points in the conference tournament. Then we would get demolished by Carolina in the semifinal game in Charlotte, who would go on to lose to NC State. Despite finishing the way we did in the year, so we started out rough because Carson, our small ball center, well, not really small ball, he's 7 feet, but our center, who's like a stretch 5, he got hurt. So we didn't have him throughout a good stretch of the ACC play and near the end of the non-conference play. Lost him, got him back, then Herb Lloyd goes out for 44 days with a broken ankle. And the way it worked out, the only way we could get him back is if we make it to the Final Four. And he's a senior, so this would be his last go-round. So let's see if we make it to his senior year. him getting to play in his final games, presumably in the Final Four. Take a look at some of these box scores on the way. Looks like Robertson or Staten really held it down for him in his absence. And what do you know? Who won the pony? We did it. So we'll go on to the Final Four play where we'll go against Michigan State, who mollywopped Florida. Oh my goodness, look at that score. Wow. Oh, wow, that guy almost had a 30-point triple-double in college. That's insane. But we'll get another Coach K, Tom Izzo matchup. Here you go. I really thought we were about to lose that game. Oh my goodness. That was insane. We end up pulling it out. Pause. Everybody really played good. So at this point, if we were to win a national championship, anybody can win the Final Four MOP on our side, as we'll take on Kentucky, who is also a 6 seed. Well. How about them Blue Devils? We did it. Munns gets the Final Four MOP. He will be gone. So will McDade. So both of the Dakota Dukies are out of here. Robertson, he's a sophomore. He will be back for next year. I'll have two great wings with him and Sparks. Staten will be playing center. Floyd is out of here. It's his senior year. And Damon Carson, our stretch five, he left for the NFL draft after his junior year. We'll take a look at our individual stats right here. Pretty good all the way around by our guys in terms of individual stats. Carson averaged 20-7, which was only good enough for first team all-conference. No All-American honors for the kid. Let's take a look at these percentages real quick. So he shot the ball fairly well. Did good on free throws as well. Here's a look at our team stats. Led the ACC in scoring and assists. Pretty good all the way around. Second in the nation in scoring. We're up there in assists as well. Second in steals. So overall good year for the team statistically. Take a look at the awards for this year. Wow, that's an awesome career right there. Him too, but wow. So no All-American honors for us. We did get Conference Coach of the Year. You can see I've been up to 1,000 wins in a while, so 1K lives on. We've also matched Coach K's 5 national championships. So Carson was first team All-ACC. We had 2 first team all freshmen. 2 ACC first team freshmen or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. We signed 2 players this year. The number 1 overall and number 42 overall. We'll take a look at them statistically and ratings wise. Here we are recapping the year. It looks like we're all but guaranteed to beat Coach K's legacy score. So we're now at a score of 113. So we've matched him in terms of Final Fours, National Championships, Elite Eights, and Sweet 16s. NCAA tournament bids, I went ahead and just gave him another point for that bid in 2020 whenever the tournament got canceled because they would have been a tournament team. So I just gave it to him to help the sim. He's going to probably have the edge on us in 30-win seasons because we, at this point, I think it's impossible for us to match him. But we'll probably end with a better win percentage against Carolina, as well as having more wins and less losses. We're going to have the edge in regular season conference titles. We're probably not going to have the edge in conference tournament titles. But if we can make one more good tournament run, then I think that seals the deal. So hopefully we'll be able to do that in the coming year. Right now, what I want to do is we have 2 candidates or 2 players make the iMaynor College Hoops 2K8 Hall of Fame. So we'll start with the first, our senior from this year's team, Herb Floyd out of Norfolk, Virginia, who played power forward. Left the school as a senior. He was 6'7", 268 pounds, former McDonald's All-American and Mr. Basketball out of Virginia. He was the number 4 overall recruit, number 2 for his position at Duke University. He wore number 22. His final overall was 91. He played in 4 NCAA tournaments, 4 Sweet 16s, 4 Elite 8s, 3 Final Fours, and won 2 national championships, playing in 3 national championship games. So ultimate winner here. He also won 1 regular season conference championship and 1 tournament conference championship as well. Then in terms of individual honors, he didn't really have a whole lot of those. He was a, let me switch these. He was a second team All-ACC performer and an All-Conference ACC freshman performer. He finishes averaging 10.1 points for his career with a total of 1,351, 2.7 rebound averages for a total of 363, average 0.5 assists for a total of 63, average 0.9 steals for a total of 126, average 0.6 blocks for a total of 74. He would shoot 45% from the field, 36% from 3, 83% from the free throw line. He averaged 17.2 minutes a game and played in 2,305 total minutes for the Blue Devils. He played a total of 134 games and only started 62. So this gives him the biggest discrepancy out of anybody in our Hall of Fame so far in terms of games started versus games played, and he finishes with a final legacy score of 55. Then we have his teammate, Damon Carson, out of Chandler, Arizona, who played center, left the university as a junior. He was 7 foot tall, 270 pounds, former McDonald's All-American and Mr. Basketball out of Arizona. He was the number 10 overall player and the number 2 player for his position, which was power forward. That's what he was recruited as. Floyd, he was recruited as a small forward. I did change their positions. He went to Duke University, wore number 30, finished with an overall of 95, played in 3 NCAA tournaments, 3 Sweet 16s, 3 Elite 8s, 3 Final Fours, 3 national championship games, and won 2 national championships, making him a consummate winner at the big dance. He also won 1 regular season conference championship and 1 conference tournament championship. He would go on to receive all ACC first team honors his first year and was also his freshman year all ACC freshman team. He finishes averaging 9.5 points for his career for a total of 969, 4.1 rebounds for a total of 416, 0.4 assists for a total of 45, 0.7 steals for a total of 69, 0.9 blocks for a total of 89. He shot 45% from the field, 34% from 3, 85% from the free throw line, which makes him our highest free throw based percentage shooter, tying with, who's that up there? McCall Sessoms. You can check him out in our small ball simulation. He was a consummate winner as well. Carson would also go on to average 19.1 minutes per game for a total of 1,951 minutes. So he has the lowest number of minutes played in our Hall of Fame so far. He played in a total of 102 games, starting 65, and finishes with a legacy score of 50. Catch you guys to start the next year. So here we are, start of the season. This is what the rotation looks like. We just got a lot of depth, so I'm going 11 deep to go and start the non-conference. Time we get in ACC play, I'm going to either go 8 or 9. Then, as always, 7 whenever we hit the tournaments. I'll catch you guys at the end of the year. First, we'll check out our freshmen. There were 2, so here's the first. Work on his shooting. And then here's our second. So this was the guy that he was number 42 overall. So you got to really scout guys. You can't just go off the rankings, because especially as it relates to big men, because it doesn't really create enough of them and prioritize them in the rankings. But okay, I'll see you guys to end the year. So here we are to end season number 12. I believe we only have 3 more seasons after this. So hope you guys have enjoyed and will continue to enjoy. We were 9-7 in ACC play. Rather deep ACC. We got 7 bids once again. And there's a case to be made that Florida State got hosed. And we went 23-10 on the year. In the conference tournament, we would beat Clemson in the preliminaries, and then Miami in the first round. But we'd bow out to Georgia Tech on a 2-point loss, that's kind of sucks, because we could have got to play North Carolina for a 3rd time. We did lose to them twice this season. First round, we would once again be a 6 seed, looking like we're about to make that run again, but we ran into the buzzsaw that is Boston College in the 2nd round, losing to them by almost 20 points. Here's what our individual stats looked like on the year. Pretty nice. We had 4 guys average about 11 and 5 in terms of points and rebounds. It's always something you like to see. Let's take a look at the percentages. Here are the team stats on the year. Rather mediocre for us. We did lead in rebounds for the ACC and blocks as well, but still we kind of expect better. Alright, and here we go. Here are the awards for the year. Alright, that's an obvious glitch. A freshman, 69 overall, averaged 100 points a game. I hate when the game glitches like this. See, look at this. This is ridiculous. He probably did do that. Well, come on, man. This guy's averaging more than Pistol Pete. It's ridiculous. So Herb Stanton was 1st team all conference. Robertson was 2nd team all conference. Both Robertson, Staten are leaving, as well as Sharp. They were juniors this year. We did get Heinen in as a freshman all ACC selection. These are our signings on the year. Had opportunity to get the number 1, 2, and 3 players, but this fit better for what we're trying to do. Loved Pauls, but I love the size on this guy. Pauls. It doesn't even sound right with the pause. I think he's going to be really good. Take a look at his stats as well. Here's the number 1 overall player. We've been recruiting really good in the West Coast. Now we'll take a look at the power forward we picked up. Alright, and all we were able to add this year was an NCAA tournament bid. We're at 112. We got 3 seasons to go. And it also looks like we got about 17 points to go. So we got 3 seasons to get 17 points. It might come down to the wire. See you guys to start the next season. So here we are to start season 13. We got some more size, as you guys will see. Whenever we go look at the rotation, so I changed the coaching sliders. We went back to motion. half court trap occasionally, 9 depth, and pretty much same sliders we started the sim with, but we're going to go 70 instead of 80 for the offensive tempo. Here's what our rotations look like. We finally did get a one-and-done freshman, even though we weren't trying to. He may leave after his sophomore year, already second round grade. So he probably will leave after his sophomore year, which that kind of constitutes a one and done in this game because it doesn't really make a whole lot of one and dones. I'll show you the next freshman, the other two. But we only have one of these kinds of guys so far, so it's not bad. Teams like North Carolina, they always talk down on Duke for having one and dones, and like it's not part of their culture. But they've had one and dones, so sprinkling one in here and there, it still stays in line with what we're trying to do with the sim. All right, and I'll check you guys out at the end of the season. So here are the conference standings to end the year. 28-7 on the year, 11-5 in conference play, 1 win away from a share of a conference championship. And in a recurring theme, we would bow out in the first round of the ACC tournament, getting our doors blown off by Miami. We would enter the NCAA tournament as a 3 seed this year, playing really well in round 1, getting by on the skin of our teeth in round 2. Sweet 16, beating ACC rival Florida State. Then in the Elite 8, we would take out another ACC rival in Maryland. And we would go on to face NC State. Now, this guy right here, Allen, he got hurt in this game. And he's the backup for the starter who was an All-American this year. So let's see how we do. So we're about to go into this Final Four game against NC State. Win, lose, or draw, it is a success because we played most of this tournament run without our starting center, Norwood, as he was hurt. And also this All-American guy right here, George Lambert. He has a broken ankle and has been out since the last week of the regular season of ACC play. Will not return at all, even if we make it to the national championship game. But it's good what we've been able to do without him. He's averaging 24 and 6. So let's get to it. Wow, wow, wow. Crazy game. Here's the box score for both teams. This guy right here, he was going off. He was trading with our freshman right here, Haynes. They both dropped 29. Both point guards had double-digit assists. Both centers and power forwards had double-digit rebounds, double overtime. Ooh, that was crazy. Look, I ain't gonna lie. As a Duke fan, if we'd have lost like that, it would have hurt to have to put that picture of Coach K up on the little gurney or whatever, that little golf cart. I may still do it though, just for the clicks and views, but man, it would have made it worse if it was NC State that we lost to in that fashion. But we'll go on to play Oregon in the national championship game. And our freshman in this game against Oregon dropped 38 points. 38 points from a freshman. Oh my goodness. This guy, he's already getting ready for the Hall of Fame. He's already getting ready. Here are our individual stats on the year. We'll take a look at our percentages. Shot the ball rather well. Could be better. Here are our team stats on the year. Great assist to turnover ratio for the pace we played with. Here's a look at this year's awards. So, our senior who got hurt, he was first team All-American. And here he is again as the ACC Player of the Year. We had 2 first team ACC players. Norwood, did he average a bunch of blocks? No. It's just been a down year for centers, I guess. But he's a walk-on too, so that's major. Wow, we have 4 guys made first team All ACC. That one's been a down year for centers in the league. This guy, he did go in the draft as a sophomore, so I guess we've technically had 2 one-and-done players. I'm counting sophomores just because both of these guys are coming back for their sophomore year. Here's a look at our recruits on the year. Actually got 3 shooting guards, 2 from North Carolina, 1 from Charlotte, and 1 from Durham. And after making that Final Four run, we are in the lead. We've passed Coach K. We got 2 points on him. The only way we can lose now with 2 more seasons left is if we lose out to North Carolina and don't make the tournament both times, pretty much. So we got it firmly in the bag. Let's see how far ahead of the GOAT we get. Here's our rotation to start the year. Roster isn't very good, so very limited. We're just going to have to go 7 deep all year long. Hopefully we can maintain our score with this. We'll show you the freshmen. Alright, we'll catch you guys at the end of the season. Here we are at the end of the season, 28-5 on the year, 13-3 in ACC. 13-3 in ACC play for a share of the regular season ACC championship. In the ACC tournament, we would wallop Wake Forest in the first round before losing to Georgia Tech. Go on to be the number 1 seed in the South region. We would blast Elon and South Florida. Then we'd go on to San Antonio to lose to North Carolina. Ouch. So it happened anyway. Tisk tisk. Here are our player stats for the year. So we only had one and done throughout the entire season because Batty is coming back and he was the candidate to leave. But Lambert, his senior year, he's gone. And he actually ran the gauntlet this year. He won Player of the Year, Big Man of the Year, First Team All-American, ACC Player of the Year, and ACC First Team All-Conference as well. Here are our team stats on the year. Nothing special, nothing that really stands out. Here are the awards on the year. So we did get Player of the Year here. Big Man of the Year, First Team All-American, ACC Champion, what's it called? ACC Player of the Year, 2 First Team All-ACC selections, and an ACC All-Freshman selection. Here's our recruiting class on the year. Let you take a look at these guys. And here's our recap of the year. We're pretty much firmly ahead of Coach K's score. This year we did tie him for total number of conference championships. Tied him for NCAA bids. And so if we get a bid next year, we'll beat him in that regard. We beat him in terms of regular season conference titles, but he beats us in tournament conference titles. We win Final Fours, national championships, Elite Eights. and Sweet 16s. So let's see what else we can add in the next season. But before we do that, we do have a guy in the Hall of Fame. So George Lambert out of San Antonio, Texas, who played power forward, stayed until his senior year, was 6'8", 257 pounds, former McDonald's All-American, and Mr. Basketball for the state of San Antonio. He was the number 5 overall recruit, 3 for his position, which was small forward, went to Duke, wore number 30, finished as a 91 overall, played in 4 NCAA tournaments, 3 Sweet 16s, 2 Final Fours, and won 2 national championships, as well as 2 Elite Eights. No, hold on real quick. I can't see the top. Here we go. Won 2 regular season conference championships, won a National Player of the Year award, a National Big Man of the Year award, 2-time first team All-American, the only 2-time first team All-American in this simulation, Hall of Fame, former Conference Player of the Year twice in the ACC, 2-time first team All-ACC selection, and an ACC All-Freshman selection. For his career stats, he averaged 18.8 points a game for a total of 1,882. Averaged 5.5 rebounds for a total of 546. Averaged 1.3 assists for a total of 132. Averaged 0.8 steals for a total of 77, 0.7 blocks for a total of 66. Shot 43% from the field, 39% from 3, 73% from the charity stripe. Averaged 26 minutes per game for his career, totaled at 2,600 minutes even. Played in 100 games, and out of those 100 games, he started in 83 of them. And his final legacy score, which is the highest in the game, or the highest in our Hall of Fame, 71. He also has the highest career average for points per game. And hats off to him. We'll see you guys start the next and final season. Alright, we are pretty deep this year, so I did change the sliders. Go more with the 4-round 1 option, so 4 outs. So what our sliders look like. We're gonna go more so, I guess, all out this year. We'll do 3/4 quarter press always, depth of 10. This is what our sliders look like. This is actually supposed to be higher. There we go. All right, I'll see you guys. Well, hold on, rotation. This is what our rotation looks like for the year. See you guys to finish our 15th and final season. Here we are to finish the final season, and we were able to catch another. We were able to capture another regular season ACC Conference Championship, going 13-3 in ACC play, 30-8 overall. So we did add another 30-win season to the resume. We would have pretty comfortable wins over both NC State and Georgia Tech in the first 2 rounds of the ACC tournament in Charlotte, and would go on to play the North Carolina Tar Heels. So we did beat them twice in the regular season. This will be our 3rd time playing them. You know what we say about playing someone 3 times. It's hard to beat them unless you're beating me in the simulation. So let's see how that goes. So just like real life, Coach K loses his final game to NC. This guy right here had 16 and 16 off 7 shots. That's ridiculous. Ridiculoso. But all right, we will go to the NCAA tournament. We would go into the NCAA tournament as a 3 seed, again underseeded, coasting through the first 3 rounds against UC Irvine, Seton Hall, and Michigan State. And we would beat Michigan State in Ford Field, so in Detroit. But we would then lose to the Charlotte 49ers in Detroit Ford Field to end our career. Here are our stats for the year. Take a look at the percentages. Shot the ball decently. It was actually pretty well, if you think about it. We averaged 92.3 points on the season, 19 assists, 10 turnovers a game. Wonder where we rank nationally. So first in points, first in assists, first in steals, and we're one of the best teams in terms of turnovers. So jolly good show. Here's our final awards presentation of the season, or of the simulation rather. Wow, they had a freshman average a double-double. It was pretty cool. A couple of all ACC selections, 1 on the first, 2 on the second. This is our final recruiting class. We'll be leaving this for John Shire, the number 1, 9, and 19 overall players. Take a look at ratings and then stats. So here we are. This is our final legacy score. We were able to beat Coach K by 20 points. So with this format, we beat him by 20 points. Let's just take out the UNC score for the sake of argument. Just leave that out because we don't have that in our other coach legacy. And let's see where we end up at. And we still beat him by about 20 points. So, good show, oh boy, we did it. At least according to our resim, Coach K should have kept his old methods versus coaching the one-and-done players. All right, so I'll give you my final takeaways. So, just some final takeaways before we depart or end this sim. First, I would say it kind of validates our small ball simulation. We didn't per se play small ball. We more so played pace and space. Our best teams and best players were always that small forward who had a lot of size, who was about like 6'7" to 6'9"-ish, with a size who had a lot of skill as well in terms of like shooting and handling. Our guy that averaged, I think his name was Gregory Lambert, averaged 20 plus points twice. I think he averaged like 23 one year and 25 the next. Won a National Player of the Year, 2-time ACC Player of the Year. That kind of player, that pace and space works really well, but you have to pair it like the pace is very important. Like, you have to have the pace, so you have to have that offense slider really high. You also have to have that fast break slider really high so that you can get a bunch of possessions. Surround a guy like that with 3-point shooters, give him some rim protection, and you're pretty much going to have a good team. You'll have a tournament team every year if you can do that. Also, Duke may be the best team for an open legacy, and I say that because you're not going to struggle to get whatever type of recruit you're trying to get. The first year or two is kind of baked in who's going where, just kind of however the game generates the players. But after that, with Duke and Coach K, you struggle to get no players. So this would be one that I recommend to people for if they're just trying to get their feet wet in the game and learning how to recruit. Then Duke would be one of the good places to go. And then lastly, we set our recruiting priority to intelligence for both. And what I saw was it really stuck very closely to the rankings. Like, the rankings did not get out of order. So, for example, whenever we did athleticism and size, we'd have a lot of centers at the top of our list whenever we sorted them based on what we're looking for. But that necessarily didn't mean like, hey, number one recruits at the top, number two, number three. It didn't happen like that. Whenever we were recruiting based off athleticism and size in the trust the process simulation, so the IQ rating is very closely tied to their overall rating, which is going to be tied to their overall ranking. So that's something to take away. So if you want to get guys who are like going to be multi-year guys but are going to stay for a couple years, then it's best to go for high IQ guys that don't have a lot of potential near the top of the rankings. All right, but that'll do it for us here. See you guys next time. Peace.